Okay, in this video I will discuss some more about Comet ISON. First of all, I'm going to be sharing dreams and visions concerning Comet ISON. Lately I have received a fairly accurate increase in my gift for visionary, and to have dreams of stuff that is occurring. And I will tell you that what my dream of ISON and what my dream about ISON has been. I'll just tell you briefly that when ISON passed all the planets in our solar system, and before it even got here, ISON traveled through the asteroid belt and picked up elements that are older than the beginning of the Earth in its beginnings, and got elements that have never ever been on our Earth before. These are completely foreign elements that came from wherever ISON came from, way out there. It's a magnetic space magnet. It's a magnet comet, and it's in the class of what is called rock comet. If you're interested in comets as much as me, I'm obsessively into comets. I always have been. I'm obsessively into science and to the study of the planets and the stars, and anything to do with powers of the universe and stuff like this. So I'll tell you, when Comet ISON passed all these planets, what happened was this: the positive supercharge of the ions and the electromagnetic static type of electricity that is inside of ISON, running through its crystalline moldavite type crystals and its magnesite type rocks and its pure metal stones that are inside of ISON. It's like a bolt of lightning jumped out of ISON, if you could imagine it, or electro like static arcs jumped into these planets, into their moons, and caused eruptions on Jupiter's moons. It caused Jupiter to become brighter in the sky, much brighter than it was last year. Jupiter's way brighter now. As it traveled on toward Mars, it shared some of its electromagnetic power, its energy with Mars, in a form of a lightning type electric static type electric transference that went into Mars and supercharged Mars' core and supercharged Mars' atmosphere, so that Mars got an atmosphere. Mars did not become a comet. Let's get to the real science of what happened with Mars. Mars did not get a coma. Mars came out of a coma. Mars was dead, and ISON gave it enough power to restart the planet, basically, by supercharging its core, giving it a magnetic sphere that it used to have, basically, before something smashed into it and messed it up. So it gave it a magnet. It increased its gravity. It jump-started Mars back to the way Mars used to be a long time ago, in a lot of ways, and it caused a volcanic explosion to happen on that planet. Now, what happened after it went past Mars was that it caused all the super typhoons, tsunamis, whatever that stuff was that happened in the Philippines. It made all of our volcanoes start to erupt. Not all the way, thankfully, it had given most of its electric charge to Mars, and the space between Mars and Earth is small. So I'm going to explain something to you. When that comet is traveling and the sun's rays are shining onto it, it's like having it plugged into a supercharger. It's been charged back up again. And so it lost most of its power, if you will, its electric power, when it went again, when it passed Mars. So Mercury, when it passed Mars. So then when Comet ISON went to Earth, there wasn't too much electric charge left in it. But what it did have caused us all the devastation that happened to us, even though it was farther away from us than it was from Mars. Now, as it went on past Venus, it increased the effect of Venus. It took some of the rocks and the particles from every single planet in our solar system. It took pieces off the moon and rocks that were floating around loose around the moon and around Jupiter. It took pieces of stuff off of every single one of the planets. Off Mars, it took pieces off the Earth. It took pieces off Venus. It took pieces off of Mercury. It increased all the volcanic activity as it went past those planets. Then it went and slingshotted around the sun. Now let me explain what happens when a electromagnetic magnet gets close to the sun. First of all, what happened was a lot of its metal pieces and that ice and stuff, not all the ice, but most of it, it melted. And so it turned into lava on some of the outside layers of it, and it spread apart like little lava liquid droplets and globlets, or I don't even know if that's a word or not, but just little pieces of this melted metalloid, magnetite, stone type, and moldavite type crystalline meteors and asteroid type stuff melted and melded together like something that went through a refining fire, like when you're melting glass at a glass shop or you're melting steel at a steel shop. And then it re-solidified back together again as a whole nother type of amalgam and a different type of alloy, like an extraterrestrial type alloy with different elements melded together from different planets, some stuff that's never existed before. So then it cooled, and then it turned into this magnetic stuff again that started kind of pulling back together and creating like a wing looking shape when it started to stick together again, as it was building up even more charge after being that close to the sun. Let me explain something. ISON, that big piece that's about the size of Hawaii that's left of ISON, and then the other big piece that's probably about half the size of Australia or bigger, that's still got a super charge to it, just like a comet would have. It's just a smaller size comet, two of them. And they have now the ability and the potential to cause 1,000 times more seismic stimulation, if you want to think of it as that, by causing our volcanoes to go into super eruption mode when they get as close as they're going to get to our Earth when they go past us. They're going to get much closer to our Earth than they did the first time. So imagine what's going to happen if what happened the first time when it was further away happens. Again, ISON has been supercharged by the close encounter and the sun kiss that happened, or the sun graze rather, when it went around the sun. And each one of the little particles is also magnetic and highly charged. There's sand in there and dust particles in there that are so highly charged that it is like literally if you would take some of that nuclear material out of a one of those reactors and just start throwing the dust around. Imagine how deadly that stuff is. This is not a joke, my friends, at all. And so start to pray to God and devise what type of safety measures you're going to try and find for your families now. We'll be bombarded by all this stuff. Radioactive type dust, highly energized particles of sand, stuff like that fell on Chicago in the 1800s, and some of that sand had melted through steel. When it hit stuff, it killed people. When they breathed it, they died. All sorts of stuff happened. And also coming with the comet, in my vision I had seen huge red rocks that looked like traffic red stoplights. The red stoplight, glowing radioactive rocks that had been dragged off of Mercury and Venus as all that cosmic shotgun blast of meteors and asteroids tumbled past Mercury and Venus, it knocked loose these brilliantly, just beautiful looking red rocks. And I'm going to tell you, they don't call Mercury the red planet for nothing. It's red. I mean, it's like cherry red, glowing, iridescent. The red is something you've ever seen before in your life. And so this stuff, it tumbled, and some of the car-sized pieces of it slammed into our moon in my vision, and hit the moon and exploded into a red, cherry red dust bomb that coated the moon's entire surface in about 10 foot of this red, fine, like silky silk looking stuff that when the sun shined off of it looked like a big, artificially dyed glowing red cherry up in the sky. Some of it hit the earth and caused quite a lot of damage. So that is what we're looking at. Also in my vision, a huge mountain-sized asteroid about the size of Hawaii or bigger slammed into the ocean and smashed a bunch of stuff up into the air. It was like throwing a piece of dynamite in the water at a lake. It killed all the fish, though. I mean, it killed fish for like literally millions of miles, and sharks and all kind of stuff died from the shock wave it created when it exploded underwater. But I'm gonna tell you something. My vision is pretty well right on, and I'm gonna tell you, this baby star that was with it, somehow it went careening out of proportion when it got close to the Earth's magnus, the Earth's atmosphere. It went completely out of whack, and it dove into the Earth. Because of some reason, it just dove away from ISON, the biggest piece. It dove toward Earth and landed. I couldn't tell if it landed, but it landed either, I think it was the Amazon River or the Nile River. And when it did, it killed all them fish and blew up, and did some stuff that was just devastating. And some stuff came out of it that, when I smelled it like that, it smelled like a cross between Clorox, ammonia, and sulfur eggs. So the water was killing people that were just touching it. Some of them died from just smelling of it. And people that tried to drink it, they got sick and broke out in these big sores, look like blisters. So that's what happened with it. This is a devastating event that is approaching our Earth that demands that people get spiritual, talk to the God. All is the God. All means all. The omnipresent God. Talk to the Messiah. Zah means the Word of God, and try to get things right with your family. Make a plan. At least have a spiritual, talk. And God help us. All the God. Zah the Messiah is returning for the day, the great day of the wrath of God and the Messiah. So time to get prepared to deal with it, because we can't avoid it. It's coming.